Hi, my name is Nancy L.T. Hamilton, and welcome to my studio today. In this case, it actually is my studio. We're going to be doing a studio tour where I babble and talk about my space a little bit to explain myself, perhaps. Anyway, quite a few people have requested to see the studio, and unfortunately, for those of you who like to look at messy jewelry studios, it's kind of a fetish thing. This studio is clean. So welcome aboard and let's get this tour started. We're in my studio and over to the right is my office. I have company this morning. We'll get to them in a minute. First off, my favorite stuff, books. I love them for inspiration and actual helping me with design and research and learning in general. Love my books. Magazines, and more books, and notebooks. I have a notebook fetish. Learning about all my neuroses on this journey here. Here's the girls. Say hi, girls. This is Lulu. You've seen her in videos. Wee Lulu. Vanilla Peach, her mom. Nellie's 21 and Lulu's 20. Nellie's on her last legs. Of course, so am I. So there's my pooter. And I do a lot of writing there and edit my videos. Things like that. So anyway, that's my desk and we'll be moving on to that area next. This is my photography setup. Really fancy, huh? Rolling mill and my hydraulic press, which I love. This is fine wire stored up here on reels. That's just a towel bar that I took the bar out of, and some forging-ish hammers. And then back down here, this is my chasing a repoussé little table here that I got at Ross. I got it at Ross. With my, okay, Nance, come on, pitch pots. And these are two of my small ones that I use for my little flowers and things like that. And I keep them in the plastic bag so that they don't get all grody from dust and cat fur. We know I have a lot of that in my studio. And then I use a silverware divider to hold my chasing and repoussé tools. So I have like liners and repoussé and punches and other. They're actually kind of organized. Kinda. Against my curtain wall back here are my Martha Stewart craft cabinets. I went online on Home Depot, which is who sells them, and I cannot find these large 42-inch cabinets in white anymore. They have it in like a green, sage green, and like a steel gray. This one is still available in white. I don't understand. White is pretty common, you'd think. Here is the Martha Stewart drawers on the 42-inch cabinet, and they're really large. I store a lot of my tools in these, and also parts that I use in the production of my jewelry. For example, this drawer contains all these elements that I've made over the years. Metal clay, jump rings, earrings, ear wires, clasps, my reject ring box, all these failures, and stops and starts that are pretty common in jewelry making. I have a bunch more on my design desk that probably should be filed in these drawers. This is a gigantic jar. Yeah, it's a big jar. It's a giant drawer filled with gemstones, rocks, minerals. I am now officially self-banned from ever attending another gem show or a bead store or anything with the words rock, gem, or stone, or mineral even in it. Because I have a shelf, 4 shelves actually, in my furnace room filled with gemstone beads and gemstones themselves. So shiny, pretty, and my mind is gone. And in this drawer, I have my wire storage. I use 3-ring binders, and I have them divided up by the type of wire. What I like about this is that you can see exactly what gauge it is, what shape it is, and how much you have left of it. Very convenient for ordering. On top of the Marthas, or the Martha Stewart cabinets, we have a buffing wheel that's very seldomly used because I do most of my finishing at my bench. Silhouette Cameo, which is a cutter, it's a vinyl cutter, and I'm creating resists for etching with it using vinyl sticky backed paper, and I'll probably talk about that in an upcoming video. Then we have the grinder, which is I use for making tools. You can use it for many other things, but I work with steel on it pretty exclusively. And then over there in that little container is, what the heck are they? Templates. Only took 10 minutes to come up with that one. This is a laser color printer that I used when I was working with polymer clay, because you need to have water resistant ink when you do this image transfer process. Then we have a hole. Quick, put something in there. A mirror to check fit and how things hang. These are bezel punches and dapping blocks and daps. Then we have swage block, and these tools are used with the swage block, but they're also great for forming metal around. Well, that's basically what a swage block is anyway. But you can use them without the block, is I guess what I'm trying to say. And then I have some mandrel storage for bracelet mandrels and ring mandrels. So that's the end of the Marthas. Moving on, next to the Marthas is Mr. Costco. This cabinet I got a few years back and has the same great qualities as the Martha Stewart cabinets do, because thin, long drawers. And this obviously is a metal storage drawer. Further down, wire storage. This is base metals. And this drawer contains silver wire and some other random things. This little cigar box has silver scrap, although I do see some copper in there, Nancy, and some base metal tubing. On top of Mr. Costco is my draw bench. It goes way back under there. When I use it, I put it up here on the Marthas. And this is used for drawing wire through draw plates, which are right here. Varying shapes. You can change the shape of your wire or thin it. Then we have some stained glass leftovers from the old days. These are faceted. They're called jewels. But I use them in jewelry making now. And tubing and wire. And my wife is always right. My husband's motto to live by. Glues and oils and randomness. This is the work area. This is my big girl vise and drill for making twisted wire and jump rings. And we've got burrs, silicone polishing discs. This is a wine rack that I repurposed as a holder for my mandrels and hammers. And this is the pipe vise that I put them in. Behind, over here, you can see my loaf pan filled with sandpaper that I'm using. I have sandpaper in another place I'll show you in a second. More bits and burrs and random tools. And this is the area where all the work happens, the sawing and drilling and filing, with some projects waiting to be done. My new binocular magnifiers. Back here we have our files, escapement, joint, needle, and habilis. And these are files that I use regularly. I have other specialty files in another drawer. And back here is storage for not traditional pliers. Before I forgot, I wanted to show you where my other sandpaper storage is. So here they are. They're in files under my bench. There's a lot going on. I have the storage for my saw frames over here. And then over here is a spice rack with test tube like storage for saw blades. And this is little cabinet is on wheels. It's called a tabaret. Once again, nice thin drawers, and has a lot of things in it, like drill bits. Those are all different drill bits. They could be organized more. Someone can volunteer to help. The top of my tabaret is my sweeps drawer, quote unquote, and I put it under my bench pin here when I'm sawing, filing, or drilling to catch the sweeps, which is basically the dust from the metal. And hidden even further under the desk is a keyboard drawer that I put in. I was originally going to use it as a sweeps drawer, but it ended up being a great place to store my small hand tools like dividers, center finders, wire straighteners, my buffing equipment, little screwdrivers, little burnishers, rulers, you name it, it's probably in this drawer. And down here underneath this cabinet are cheat sheets and my favorite little drawer that I made for file storage. The PVC is just cut to varying lengths, and it also comes in varying widths for, depending on if we're talking about that size of a file or a little file. So this is a nice way to keep everything out of my face. And lastly, we have our plier storage. I have some here and the ones we talked about before. This area over here, down a bit from the work area, is my design area where I take pieces of elements that I've made and or found and put them together into something new. I also do reading over here and occasional crossword puzzle. Over here is my soldering area. My torch is held on with 2 coat hooks, and it just pops in and out. I also have my wrench for my tank here. My acetylene tank that's chained back on the cabinet there, and baking soda and distilled water for the pickle. Soldering things, soldering tool storage, and up here things like French chop shears and flux and UV protecting glasses and my tripod. This area gets a little confused, but that's okay. I don't use it that much. I just ignore it. This is all my enamels over on this wall. And my row of tape. Who knew a woman needed that much tape? This is a coat rack turned sideways. It works great. And then the corner is also storage for dowels and, those things, tripods. We don't know why. I guess because they fit there. Here's the desk where I shoot my videos from. But this is looking the opposite way from how I usually look. Thought I'd give you a new view. Shear, large piece of metal, and then this smaller shear here. This is for precision cutting. It creates a nice square, and you can do angles. The only problem with this is 4 inches is not very wide. So I wish I had gotten a bigger one. If you have a choice, go with a 6-inch. I think you'd be happier. Oh, down at this end, across from my bench, it's my hammer storage. These are just little things that you put in your garage to hold brooms and shovels, but they also make lovely holders for hammers, and they're simple to use. Anyway, that's that. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you visiting my studio today, and we will see you in the next one. Ciao.